Hey everyone, I'm Kali. Today we are playing Little Locked Rooms. Not me having a guilty conscience for playing a Tunic all the time. Not at all, I swear. This should be a pretty short game, like 2-3 hours, somewhere there. So I think we're gonna do it in just one go, one whole video. So yeah, I'm not really sure what it's about. If you've seen the latest Knives Out, it's been compared to that one. Small rooms, things happening. I don't know, let's go. The following is a true story that occurred a few years back. On a cold winter's day, an infamous thief managed to steal a jewel of remarkable value. As he made his escape, however, he made a blunder. A witness caught a glimpse of him fleeing in a red truck. The police promptly answered the call and gave chase. After a few hours of driving down the road, they found the truck they were after. However, when they took a peek inside, they realized that the driver had already exited the vehicle. A set of footprints went from the vehicle into a small cabin. The police naturally checked inside, but alas, the thief wasn't there either. Yet there were no traces of anyone having left the cabin. The criminal had vanished into thin air. And that's how the mystery goes. What do you think, kiddos? Think you can crack it?
Yeah, Dad, it looks easy. I'll solve it in a minute. Time.
A mysterious case indeed. But no matter, the great Sherry Holmes is on the scene. Oh, why are you here again? To solve the case, duh. Come on, Boo. Boo? Boo? Really? You'll be my sidekick. I'll look in the cabin. You look inside the truck.
Dad, she's just messing around.
Haha, it's fine, isn't it? Take a good look at the diorama, you two. There's some important clues lying around. Welcome to Little Rock Rooms. On this screen, you'll be able to inspect a diorama that represents the mystery. Rotate the diorama by clicking and dragging with your left mouse button. Click on interesting objects to zoom in on them. At the bottom left, you'll find cards with other important information. Ugh, my boom arm is like slightly in the way on the left corner, like here. So I might have to go like bobblehead. Okay, that's fine. Once you think you cracked the case, click on the click on the bar at the bottom right to check your solutions. Okay. How did the thief escape? Okay. A criminal entered a cabin and seemingly vanished inside it. Find out how he did it. He just walked backwards. He's in the car. The diorama shows the state of the cabin when the police arrived. Okay. Am I supposed to read this or is it cheating? I don't know. The police found an abandoned truck. A trailer footprints lead into the cabin. The cabin was completely empty. The thief had somehow disappeared. Fact. Okay. Oh, testimony. So that's the objective. Right. So that's the testimony. Fact. Evidence shows that the criminal went inside the cabin 30 minutes before the police arrived. Fact. There are no secret footprints. There are no secret footprints hidden in the unmarked snow. Okay. Also, what a weird room we're in.
How the hell?
There's missing one. Why? Track. Tracker. Hassan? No, it's Hassan. Okay, so tire. Missing tire. Tire carrier. Tire truck. Can I not open it?
I would like to check out this thing.
Okay. Cabin. No, that's a chimney. Can we go inside?
I'd like to go inside, please.
There's no snow on the roof. Okay.
I got it!
Yeah, how about you, Sherry? Yeah, me too. Actually, I knew the answer from the start. I was just waiting for not what? As if. What's the answer then? Huh? He just. Hold on. Let's be organized about this, alright? Throwing out theories to see if they stick is for amateurs. Oh no, I'm an amateur, guys. We're all real detectives here. I'm from Sweden. We don't have detectives here. And the real detective asks the right question at the right moment. So let's start nice and easy from the top. I mean, you have to throw out theories. That's weird. We know for certain that the thief entered the cabin, but the police didn't find him when they arrived. Weird, huh? How could that happen? Did the thief really vanish?
No, it's just a trick. That's what you want us to figure out.
Ha ha! That logic is cheating. Okay, but yeah. People just don't vanish, okay. Are you sure? The thief was simply clever in how he escaped. Which leads us to our first question. How did he do it? This is the first in a series of questions the game will ask you. If you want to review the clues before answering, you can always click the arrow at the top to momentarily go back to the investigation mode. Okay. You can also ask for hints and using the button on the left. By walking.
He just walked out, right?
Makes sense to me. The thing is, though, there is no footprints leading out of the cabin. How do you explain that? He was walking backwards because of what he used to walk. Because of where he walked. Because of when he walked. No. He walked back in there and then he took the tire and went. Where? Huh? Where did the thief walk over? There. On the footprints. I know. He walked backwards over his footprints. Exactly. Nice. He masked his exit with his own footprints, which is funny because then how the weight would be shifted in the snow with the footprints would be all wrong. But okay. Now, following that logic, where would the thief arrive by backtracking through his steps?
The truck, right?
Correct. The footprints would lead... I gave that kid such a horrible voice. Yeah, we're going with it. The footprints would lead back to the truck, so we still haven't fully explained how the escape occurred. Answer me this next. How did the thief manage to escape once he reached the truck? Because of what he used to escape. Because of where he escaped through. Because of when he escaped. He never got away. Because of what he used. A tire. I think if you click the carrier, it's fine, right? Oh, there's a tire missing! This can only mean one thing. He rode the tire like a unicycle. What? No, that's dumb. He rolled it behind him. It's not dumb, you're dumb. What does rolling it behind him even mean?
You can't even figure that out.
Haha, don't be like that, buddy. Explain to your sister what you mean. Hump, alright.
The thief walked backwards from the cabin and then he hopped onto the back of the truck. That's when he unhooked one of his spare tires.
Oh yeah, so what I was saying.
Then, the next thing he did was walk through the tires tracks until he got to the road.
Then why are there no footprints, huh?
Like I said, he used a tire.
As he walked, he rolled it behind him, leaving on the tire tracks. Oh, okay, that's kind of boring. My idea was better. Whatever. That am I right there now? Absolutely, your brother is right. Cherry. Cherry? I mean, that just makes me think of
Leon!
And shit. His version makes the most sense. Okay.
Told you.
Still, I can't deny either possibility, so you both get a passing mark.
Hey!
I mean, yeah. Anyway, good work, you rascals. Let's do a quick recap. After the burglary, the thief was on the run. His plan was most likely to lay low in his cabin. However, this changed when he realized that the police was on his tail. That's when he thought of a little this little trick. He parked the truck near his cabin and walked inside. Then he returned. Why did he go into the cabin to begin with? Okay. He returned to the truck by retracing his footsteps in the snow. Finally, he walked through the tire tracks, making sure to erase his footprints with his spare tire. After that, he was free to flee the scene. And cold. And he got what he wanted. The officers were very confused when they arrived. They ran a search party, but they looked in the wrong places. And so the thief simply vanished. This time, for real.
Yeah!
Ah, the thief got away because you took too long, boo.
What are you talking about? I'm the one who actually solved it.
That says my idea still counts.
But mine's better, right, Dad?
So honestly, this is not... okay, yeah, everyone wins. Stupid dad. Come on, let's pack it up and go downstairs. I'm starving. There was not much to pack. Solve the mystery. Okay, can I... Ooh, the last dance. We're getting more difficult now. It was opening night at the Narrowway Theatre. A delightful ballet show was about to begin. All the seats were full and the audience waited with a bated breath. The stage lit up, revealing a single dancer standing gracefully at its center. A beautiful symphony filled the air, and the ballerina began a mesmerizing solo performance. She waltzed, twirled, and soared across the stage, captivating everyone present. As the orchestra swelled to a climax, she started executing a sequence of flawless pirouettes without skipping a beat. She turned and turned like a spinning top as the music grew more intense, until suddenly a loud explosion echoed inside the theater, followed by another. The ballerina's spinning came to a halt. That's not how physics works. Just saying. If she was a spinning top, bitch, there would be no stopping her. As the music continued, she placed her hand over her chest, where a small splooge of blood was beginning to spread. After which she collapsed to the ground. Crew members rushed onto the stage in panic. The spectators were frozen still, praying it was all part of the act. Alas, it was not. Only a few minutes later, the ballerina passed away. Even after all the lights were turned on, the assailant was nowhere to be found. When the police arrived, they began their questioning. Several staff members outside the auditorium confirmed no one had left since the shots were fired. The spectators testified that they were all seated when the shots rang out. Several audience members turned around, but nobody saw anyone suspicious that could have been the shooter. They also gave conflicting statements when asked where the sound came from. As the theater was being searched, a staff member screamed they found something beneath one of the seats.
Something under my seat!
Look, he's holding a little gun. It was the police! He's the guilty one. The police looked under and found a gun. One with precisely 2 bullets fired. In the confused crowd, someone flashed a smirk. The murderer was amongst them. Invisible. Cool! This little theater is so cute!
Kawaii!
I know, right? Not too shabby if I say so myself. Did you make it, or...? Yeah, it reminds me of when we went to see Little Ladies. You should have been there, boo. It was just like this. Oh yeah, I remember that. Completely uninterested. You weren't there, were you, buddy? Buddy? Why not? It was a girly stuff. Haha! No, but it was nice, right? Baby, what the fuck is with this dad? The choreography and everything. On point. Slay! Dad, you fell asleep. Good thing you were there to wake me up for the good bits. But you missed the funny part when...
Anyway, Dad,
was this a real murder? Yes, it was, although it happened a long time ago.
Okay, so if I solve it, does that count as solving a real murder?
Aha! Hold your horses, buddy. You're getting ahead of yourself. Let's solve a couple hundred of these before we think about that, alright?
200, alright, deal.
And after that you take me with you to a real crime scene, kid. You don't want to see a real crime scene. It doesn't look like this. I wasn't, but sure, why not? Oh my god, that sucks. Okay. Okay. Click the light bulb icon at the top to dim the lights to see the crime scene as it was during the murder. You can bring the light back by clicking the icon again. Wow. Okay, objective. A ballet dancer was shot without anyone seeing the culprit. How was the crime perpetrated? Diorama. The diorama shows what the theater looked like after the police investigation ended. Okay. Testimony. The ballet dancer was performing a series of difficult spins for her solo act. Okay. Testimony. Everyone heard 2 gunshots, after which the dancer fell to the ground. Staff members were waiting on the wings. They rushed on stage and confirmed she was dead. Several members of the audience turned around, but nobody saw the shooter. No one left until the investigation ended. The police organized a search once they arrived. A gun was found beneath the seats. Facts. Oh, that's a testimony. Okay, so facts. Oh lord. Okay, fact. A bullet entered through the victim's chest, hit the heart, and remained in her body. A bullet was found in the wall. The lack of gunshot residues implies the shot was made from afar. Okay. The gun found in the auditorium fired the 2 bullets discovered at the crime scene. So we know that that was particular gun used, because my first thought was that they shot just 2 shots with the gun and they were playing the audio somehow through the speakers. And that's why they think that the sound came from different directions, because you see there's 4 speakers. That was my first thought. North. What? Why could I do that? Can I zoom? Cool. Okay, but I wanted to really investigate this one closer. Is that where they... Oh, that's where they found the gun. Okay, so it makes sense that would be a good distance, right? Oh. Bread. Okay, but let's turn on the light, I guess. Right. So it could have been from the door? Oh. Bags. Paintings. Back door. Ladder. Bags. Tutu. Painting. Actually, I think that's a diploma. Painting. Mirror. Rope. Okay. Bread. Victim. Mirror. I mean, okay. So he could have been shot from there and then thrown under. But they didn't hear any... The door wasn't opened. I still feel like they would have played the audio through the speakers, and that's why they were unsure where the sound came from. How did the killer shoot the dancer without being seen? Any ideas, kiddos? I have observed the scene of the crime. This is a simple case, really.
I don't know about here, but I found the trick.
Good. Now the big problem here is that no one spotted the shooter. Everyone heard the gunshot, but no one saw anything suspicious. It's weird no matter how you slice it.
Nice.
Did you figure that out? What they used to shoot because of where they shot from. They didn't shoot. See, because I feel like they didn't. They didn't. That would be interesting. They didn't shoot. Oh, I see. It was simple all along. Hold on to your butt, bosom. The truth is the killer didn't shoot the girl. What? That's right. The shots were fake. The girl didn't die from being shot. She was poisoned before the show. No way. What the hell? Oh my god. When she started spinning around, she mixed up the bad juices inside her stomach. That activated the poison. No. Did you miss the part the bullet was found inside her? That's not what I meant. Oh my god. Silly boson. I was waiting for you to say that. People rushed to check on the girl when she fell. That's when the bad guy secretly shot her when no one was looking. Truly a sinister plan. How does that make any sense? You don't make any sense. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. First, I don't know any poison that works like that, honey. But besides that, no poison can be seen in the model, or any secret killing method for that matter. So it would be a valid solution. It wouldn't be a valid solution even if the poison worked like you said, alright? Okay. Second, as soon as the dancer collapsed, several crew members were crowding beside her. Pulling out a gun and shooting undetected in that scenario would be impossible, not to mention the fact that everyone saw blood seeping from her chest before she fell in the first place. Ketchup? It wasn't ketchup. Alright, so it was from where where they were shooting from? Oh, yeah. From the outside? I mean, the killer shot from the outside, that's why nobody saw him. Not a bad idea, but see here, the bullet trajectory doesn't pass through the door. Oh, so I'm afraid it's not like that, balls. Alright, fine. We'll take the last one because of what they used to shoot. I mean, what? Yeah, speaker. The theater has speakers. I wonder if... That's what I meant to begin with, but okay. Just in case, let me stop you right there. We know the bullet was found inside the victim. We also know that that said bullet was fired from the gun found below the seats, meaning that the gun was definitely fired at the victims that night. Okay. Not sure what you were planning to say about the speakers, but I'm looking for a direct answer to the question, why was the killer not seen? And speakers doesn't immediately help us there, right? Oh, right. Alright. Oh my god, okay. So the one in the wall was shot far away. But you can see the mirror there, so it's like they would be standing behind the curtain somewhere and like shoot there. What they used to shoot. The mirror. I see, it's a mirror trick. Oh, that sounds cool. How does that work? Come on, you don't know? No, what is it? It's just a weird as a guy as his dad, okay. So you don't know. Shut up! The mirror has to be there for a reason, right? Huh, good question. What do you mean then? Okay, what they used. Hint me up. Oh, sorry. Huh? The criminal set up multiple misdirections, so the answer to this question may seem contradictory at first glance, okay? So what did they use? the killer use to avoid being seen when shooting at the dancer? So use this. The black curtain. Take a look at the path of the shot, gentlemen. We can see that it's like really high. So the shooter would have needed to stand on their tippy toes and shit like that. And that would look really silly. So they wouldn't have done that. I must admit at first I was quite puzzled by this, but then I had the revelation. You see, if we just look at the thing... Oh, that's why they had 2 shots, because it went in... I don't know. If we just look at the things in reverse... The killer shot from behind the curtains! Hey, I was gonna say that! The dancer was spinning, so nobody could tell the real direction of the shots. Yeah. That's actually why the killer fired at that time, to hide their position. Yeah, that... Nice, good job. That's some good reasoning. But if you think about it, shooting from behind the curtains contradicts a few things at the crime scene. Do you two know what I'm talking about? Yeah, the gunshot? There's a bullet hole behind the curtain. That doesn't make sense if the shooter was there already. Anything else? The police found the gun below the seats. That's weird too. How did it get there? Exactly. Let's divide and conquer here. Starting with the gun. Like you said, Bumpkin, it was found beneath the seat. That would seem to suggest someone in the audience did it. But if what you're saying is right, and the shooter was on stage when they fired, that begs the question. Why did no one notice the criminal placing the gun under the seats? Because of what they used to hide it, because of when it was hidden, because of who the criminal was. When it was hidden? I mean, it could have been there after the police arrived. Because they arrived and then they... The killer could have hidden the gun during this time. True, but what I want to know is why nobody noticed the criminal doing it. Why did no one notice the criminal hiding the gun under the seat? Because of who the criminal was. It was the police. I'm telling you. What they used to hide it. Because of who the criminal was? Yeah, police. Oh, what if it's a policeman, but like an evil one? Then nobody would have suspected them. Okay, but if that's the case, the evil officer would have needed to enter the theater twice, right? Once to kill the victim, then again to rest with the rest of the officers to hide the gun. How would they go unnoticed the first time? Because they weren't wearing the police clothes that time. Surely they could change their clothes, but they can't exactly change their face. Think about it. The killer sneaks onto stage, kills the victim, then leaves. Anyone could have seen their face at any point. Showing up later hoping no one not to be recognized just because they were wearing a uniform would be pretty risky. Oh yeah, so there's a better answer. Okay. I mean, okay, so if it's one of the staff, then staff member. Oh, I see the truth, clear as day now. Why wasn't the killer seen? It's quite elementary, really. The killer worked here. So nobody found it strange when they stepped off the stage to help the police. Most foul. And then, while pretending to look under the seats... Oh, right, because they found one. The criminal quietly slid the gun while people were looking the other way. And then falsely claimed they found it. Checkmate, evildoer. Officers, arrest that man. Why are you pointing at me? Hold on. Wait, what? Why is this? Huh? We're spelling the name different now? Now we're just jumping to conclusions. Oh, that's not it? No, it is. If the killer was a staff member, they would have had plenty of chances to dispose of the gun. But we can't say for sure that the person who found it is the criminal, not yet anyway. So that takes care of the gun issue, but there was another problem, the bullet behind the wall. Wait, why is that a problem? Huh? What do you mean? Like, when the bad guy was hidden, they shot the girl, turned around and shot the wall, right? No. No, the shot was fired from far away. Oh, yeah, okay. Exactly, if the culprit was behind the curtains, then how did they shoot at the wall from afar? Because of what they used to shoot, because of when they shot. I mean, I'd say when they shot. Before. Any ideas? Sherry Holmes? Patience, my dear bosun. The mind is a complicated machine. Well, I don't know. I don't know what's so complicated about it because I already know the answer. Huh, really? I can give you a few more seconds if you want. Beep beep, time's up. Don't worry though, I'll explain it to you. It's true that the killer couldn't have shot the wall while they were hiding behind the curtains, but that doesn't mean that they couldn't have done it at some other time. Some other time? Since the criminal was a staff member, they had access to the theater whenever. All they had to do was come on day in secret and bang, shoot the curtain. Nobody would have been able to notice a little hole left in there. The killer could have even used tape or props to cover it up so nobody would find it. Not until, but then that would have been, they could have easily found that. Not until the murder investigation, that is. That makes no sense, bosun. It makes perfect sense. What do you mean? Because there were 2 gunshots. Says who? That's what this card says. See, everybody heard 2 gunshots. Sherry's right, boss. But you're on the right track. You just need one more piece to complete this puzzle. So, do you have the answer? Why did people hear 2 gunshots? Because of the speakers! Finally, the speakers! Nobody in the audience could ever even agree on where the shot came from, because what people heard weren't actual gunshots, they were fake gunshots played by the speakers. The killer wanted to make everybody think that the gun was fired twice, but they shot only once at the dancer. The bullet stuck in the wall was planted from the start. Whoa, crazy! They did all that? Right on the money, Chief. You got it. Good job. What the heck? You're so smart, boo! You figured it out. That's so cool. You think so? Yeah, I know. That's why you should listen to me more. Girl, I don't know. You say dumb stuff most of the time. What? You're the one who does that. I don't, though. Alright, let's take it from the top. As you deducted, the criminal was a stagehand at the theater. He had been romantically involved with the victim. How do we know that? But she left him for another guy. A very ugly breakup. Oh my god. The guy was pretty sick in the head. Yes, thank you for saying that. So, in a fit of jealousy, he decided to commit the ultimate sin, murder. But since he was an obvious suspect, he had to find a way to make it so that he had a strong alibi, hence the trick. The plan was to shoot her on the opening night of her show and make it seem like one of the spectators did it. The first thing he did was plant a bullet hole a week before the show while nobody was around. That was also his first mistake. He didn't realize that the shooting angle would be awkward for someone in the crowd. The second thing he did was offering to take care of the sound system. He used that to add 2 gunshots to the melody of the victim's performance at very specific timings. Oh, then the night of the show came. He slipped behind the curtains and waited in the darkness for his chance. If he shot from there, it would be obvious where the bullet came from. That's why he chose to shoot while the victim was spinning around. He knew the choreography, so he knew exactly what he was waiting for. As the first gunshot echoed from the speaker, he fired a single shot right to her chest. He had a very good aim for shooting straight in the chest. Like, he could have been in the arm. Okay, whatever. The gun was muffled with a silencer, so the only sound people heard was from the speakers. Immediately after the second gunshot rang out inside the theater, but at this time the criminal didn't fire. The investigation will later match this second gunshot to the bullet in the wall, a missed shot. This would be proof that the culprit being someone in the auditorium. After being shot, the dancer fell dead to the ground. Perfect music for this. God damn it. While everybody was focused on her, the killer came out of hiding and played the fool. And at last, once he had the chance, he disposed of the weapon below the seats. Only to shout that he had just found it. I knew it! Yeah, after we guessed a couple of times. The plan wasn't half bad, but the inspectors in charge of the case back then were pretty sharp. There was evidence of the culprit tampering with the music, obviously, and there were ties connecting him to the gun. It was over. He went through all the hoops, but in the end, crime never pays. Well, crime never pays. Someone died. What the hell? What is he saying? Sherry. Alright. 0 points. 0 points. B solid. Oh my god. I'm fine with that. In the end, crime never pays. Yeah. No criminal can hide from Sherry Holmes and her trusty sidekick and bosun. Hold on, why am I Watson? I should obviously be Sherlock. Sorry, boo. I'm Sherry, Sherlock, Sherry. That's me. Sherlock is a guy. You don't have a hat. You need to have a hat to be Sherlock. Elementary. Fine, give me yours then. No, it's mine. Get your own. I sold the case. Come on, hand it over. Boo, no. Don't. I'll kick you. Stop. Dad, no. You two, don't run. Don't run on the stairs. Boo, knock it off. Be nicer, sister. Jeez, those two. Oh my god. I'm just saying, that was... Wasn't there like... Oh. Well... Did we... Okay, I missed one. Sorry. I guess we're back here. Okay, we're already... Dad, I ordered this all this one, didn't I? Was something wrong with what I said? No, that was fine. You just crushed it. This is just a little encore. Okay, so I missed it. Hold on, I need to fix my glasses. Alright, if you remember from the other night, the mystery was about a thief who seemed to disappear inside the cabin. And the solution was that the thief walked in reverse in his own footprints. Yeah, that's fine and all, if you don't look too close, that is, okay? In reality, stepping perfectly into your footprints is not that easy. Yeah, that's what I said. Shoes have intricate patterns on their soles, so even being a bit off while backtracking would leave marks. Marks that an observant officer would be able to find. That's what I want you to figure out. You're going to find a way to leave the cabin without leaving any marks. Why do you want to do that, Dad? Are you going to steal something? Haha! Nothing gets past you, Sherry. Yeah, Daddy needs a new drill set. Don't do it! If you do, I'm going to catch you! Don't be stupid. Shay. Okay. If Dad committed a crime, he would 100% get away with it. Okay, I know that you mean well, Chief, but maybe don't phrase it like that. At any rate, the rest of the escape can be done using the tire as we talked about last time. Your assignment is simply to figure out how the thief could have escaped from the cabin. Now get to it, detectives. Okay. Some smudge on my glasses that's pissing me off. Stupid smudge. Sorry, I didn't see that we could actually scroll down on the same scenario here. Okay. Objective. Find how the thief managed to exit from the cabin without stepping over any points. Diorama shows the state of the cabin when the police arrived. The police found an abandoned truck. A trail of footprints leads into the cabin. The cabin was completely empty. The thief had somehow disappeared. Evidence shows that the criminal went inside the cabin 30 minutes before the police arrived. How did they know that? There are no secret footprints hidden in the unmarked snow. The footprints have no imperfections, so it's not possible that the criminal walked over their steps. Okay. Axe. Wood logs. Cabin. Bucket. Truck. Carrier. Okay. How did the thief escape without stepping over his footprints? Okay, let's try it, I guess. Is that it? I have an idea. Alright, let's hear it. Because of what he used, because of how he walked. How did the thief walk out of the cabin without stepping over his own footprints? He jumped from the roof? Because of what he used, because of how he walked. Oh god, 30 points. He used the bucket. He jumped with the cabin. I don't know. What do you mean? He used the wood logs. The logs? What did the thief do with them? Burn them? Roll them over the footprints? I appreciate the attempt, but it wouldn't particularly help us here. Try again. Oh my god. How did the thief walk out of the cabin without stepping over his own footprints? I don't know. I mean, he would jump. Cabin. Bucket. He used the buckets. Yes. This bucket seems suspicious. My detective senses are tingling. What if it had snow and the thief filled the footprints before going backwards? Perfectly filling out footprints doesn't seem possible to me. It also contradicts what I said last night about there not being any hidden footprints in the unmarked snow. As much as I'd like the idea, that's not our answer. Oh my god. Because of how he walked. Oh my god. Okay. What's particular about the way the thief walked? The footwear used by the thief. The body part the thief used. The length of the steps. He walked barefoot. Okay. Footwear. What if you had another pair of shoes? Oh, hold on, sounds like you already have a clever idea. You got a clever idea there, Steve, but I'm gonna have to stop you there. Let's say the thief only had a single pair of ordinary shoes. Oh, okay. I'm not sure what you were about to say, but the answer we're looking for has to do with something else. Reasonable answer, no penalty. Wow. Okay. I mean, there's not much else he could use. The logs, no. Okay, so how he walked. The body parts. Oh my god. Length of the steps. Oh, I know. He did like this. First, a short step. Then a long step. Short step, long step, short, long step. He left little gaps in between and he stepped in those on the way back. Yes, pumpkin, exactly, nice. Yeah, wow, you actually got it too. I guess it wasn't that hard then. Oh, I get it. That's why the footprints were closer. Are closer this time, so the bad guy doesn't have to jump too far. Wait, what? Sharp, yes, I adjusted them a little bit. I'm surprised you even noticed. That's because we played the theater scene in between. I didn't notice. That explains it. You just got lucky because you noticed the footprints were different, Jay. What is this girl's name? I don't know. I didn't, and I still solved it though. You didn't see it? That? Why not? I just didn't. So what? Nothing. It's just kind of weird. It seems something a detective would notice. So that's the trick, guys. In truth, the police were too busy searching for the thief to investigate the footprint in much detail, but the criminal could have left footprints behind that looked normal no matter how close anyone inspected. Goes to show you how many tricks criminals have at their disposal. Unfortunately for them, a good detective is ready for all of them. Alright, sure, yeah. Yeah. Especially when I get like 14 times to guess. That was fun. Can we do one more, please? Aha! Give me a break. Your moment, I need some time to make another. I think I know what case we'll do next. We'll go back in bit in time about 100 years. Awesome! That's when the best detectives detectived. You mean your TV detectives? Or our dad is the best one, you know? You're pretty cool, Dad, but you're not Sherlock. Maybe when you get a movie. Hard to argue against Dad, but at least I'm second base, right? Depends. Can we order some ice cream? Cheeky. Okay, I think we're done here. Let's clean up, head downstairs, and order some ice cream. Awesome! You're really the best, Dad. Okay, cool. Alright, so we did that one. Let's do this one. And here we have two. Okay, sleeping beauty. Okay. Some coffee. This strange tale was recorded by a historian in the margins of This strange tale was recorded by a historian in the margins of an old tome. Once upon a time, there was a princess who lived at the summit of a majestic tower. On a fateful night, the royal family paid her a visit. Together, they shared a pleasant dinner. Following the meal, her aunt requested a private audience with her in the tower's library. The servants stationed outside the room noticed their voices getting louder and more violent. Abruptly, the princess stormed out with tears in her eyes. In silence, the servants guided her to her chambers. The princess quietly instructed her attendants to warn her if her aunt made any suspicious movement. This is how it looks. They were just floating. So then, she then vanished behind her bedroom door, locking it behind her. Oh god, just flew away. Time passed and night became day again. The servants came to the princess' bedroom for her morning routine, but she flew away. You saw the whole thing went off. But they found the door was still locked. They knocked, but there was no answer. Growing anxious, they forcefully broke down the door, only to discover the princess was dead. Inexplicably, the sole key to her room was found upon her table. Every member of the royal family and all the servants were assembled, and everyone was accounted for. A perplexing murder had occurred within a room sealed from the inside. No way, how can this be, my dear sister? Cruelly murdered. Just when we were about to have a tea party and go riding together, what horrible monsters could have done this? What, so you're a princess now? Wait a minute, if the key was inside, how did the culprit escape? Escape. This smells like a cunning scheme. Am I a princess, you ask? Not today. Today I'm a detective. Why is some of this text in cursive and not? And why do you keep changing name? And I don't know. Why are you Boo and then Bosun? And I am going to solve this mystery no matter what, for the good people of the kingdom. No! Nay, for my dearest sister. Alright, sure, whatever. If the room was locked, how was the princess killed? We don't even get to examine the room. Okay, I'm gonna finish my coffee, hold on. A lovely cup of cappuccino and some water. A princess was found dead in her chamber. The room was locked, yet the key was inside. How? The diorama shows the state of the tower moments before the body was found. The princess welcomed the royal family over in her tower. The princess had a meeting with her aunt that night. She stormed off in distress. A couple of servants escorted her to her bedroom. They heard her locking the door. Okay. The next morning, a few servants tried entering the princess' room, but the door was still locked. The servants forced the door open and found the princess dead. The servants gathered everyone together, but no one claimed to know anything. Fact, the victim was smothered with a pillow. The room below the princess' chambers were guest rooms. Nobody tampered with the crime scene after the door was forced open. The key inside the princess' bedroom was the only key capable of opening the door. Oh, I see. Very cool. Okay. Thread. Clock. Book. Candle. Table. Plant. That's not a table, that's a chair. Victim. Bed. Okay. Wardrobe. Books. Pillow. Seat. Okay, but where does this window go? Door. Carpet. Aha, so that's... Oh, okay, so that's her... Tower. Okay, so we have some bedrooms below there. No secrets. Door. Okay, so you could have gone out on the balcony, I guess. How would they climb up? Tower. Balcony door. Window. And there's no other windows into her room either. Entrance. She just lives in a tower? What the fuck? If the room was locked, how was the princess killed? Now I understand the terrible truth behind this case. Yeah, good to hear. We got ourselves a good old-fashioned locked room mystery here. The guards heard the princess locking her own room, yet the killer was somehow able to get in, do the deed, and get out. Or so it's do the deed. Let's start with this question. How did the killer enter the room if the princess had locked the door? How did the killer enter the bedroom if the door was locked? Because of how the door was unlocked, because of when they entered. Oh, they could have hidden in the wardrobe. The killer entered from somewhere else. The killer never entered the room. I mean, they could have been hiding in the wardrobe, I guess. I mean, sure, one day she was talking to her aunt. I understand, my sister must have been scared of Auntie, that's why she locked the door. But she was tricked. She didn't lock the criminal out, she locked herself in with them. The bad guy must have been hiding somewhere. And when she was sleeping, my poor sister, I can't keep going, this is too sad. Aha, you've got it. If the killer snuck inside the room before the princess locked the door, that would have done the trick. But after committing the crime, the killer would still needed to escape somehow, so we're only halfway there. How do you think the criminal escaped from that room? Using the door, using the window, through somewhere else, they didn't escape. Well, the window, I guess. The killer didn't open the door, they escaped through the window. That way they wouldn't need to use the key at all. Alright, but the window was closed when the servants got inside the room. What do you make of that? Just outside the room there's a roof that you can stand on. So the killer jumped outside and then closed the window from up there. Easy as that, right? Ah, easy as that. Very nice, Chief. Okay, so far we know how the criminal got in and out of the room. What's next? What did they do to get down from there? The bad guy jumped downstairs into the little balcony. Yeah, obviously. That makes sense, but what would you say is that distance between the roof and the balcony? I don't know, a lot? It'd be roughly like dropping down one floor. People can definitely survive a fall like that, but there's some risk of injury, and that'd make you suspicious. So we're looking at a method that's a bit safer than just jumping off the roof. Any ideas what that could be? Because of what they used, because of where they escaped to. They didn't escape. What they used, but what could they have used? Pillow? Pillow? But there's only one. Oh no. Oh, come on. I mean, I guess they could have used pillows, but that makes really no sense. Without getting hurt. I mean, okay. They used a bed to make the fall hurt less. Good idea, but the killer couldn't use the bed, you know. I was thinking of the pillow, but the victim was taking a nap on it after all. She wasn't taking a nap, then she was dead. My bad, you're right, Sherry. Must have slipped my mind somehow. Could they have used the curtains? I want to still take the pillow. I must have clicked the bed last time, right? I know the answer. It's true that the evildoer could hurt themselves by jumping from the roof, but not if something was down there cushioning their fall. Something they had prepared beforehand. What could that be? Why, it's a terribly simple. The beds from downstairs. The criminal took the mattress and pulled them out the balcony before going to my sister's bedroom. That way, oh god, imagine how easy it would be to just... that way they had a place to jump to without getting hurt, and that's what's happened. Excellent, good. Well, I don't know, I didn't read. Good job. And that's it, that concludes the trick. There's not a lot of information available on, for this particular case, but here's what people think happened. There was a power struggle within the royal family, and a few members wanted the princess out of the picture. That night, the murderer entered an unused guest room and placed a mattress on the balcony. Then they snuck into the princess' bedroom while she was gone. The princess, after having meeting with her aunt, returned to her room along with her guards. When she arrived, she locked the door, unaware that the assailant was hiding inside. And while she was sleeping, she was attacked. After killing the victim, the criminal needed to escape. They jumped from the window onto the roof before dropping down into the balcony below, where a couple of well-placed mattresses cushioned their fall. That's so scary, though. And with no evidence left behind, they simply snuck back into their room. And thinking they got away with it, they slept through the night like a baby. What a little interesting detail to add there at the end. Great. I hope you're watching me from the heavens, sister. I did it. I solved it. Hey, Dad, this was fun. Can we do more mysteries in the castle and stuff, please? You never get tired, do you? Huh? What do you mean? That thing where you pretend that you're a real detective or something. Stop doing that. You're doing the same thing. What the? Why? Because it's stupid. It's for little kids. It's not stupid. It's cool. Exactly. It's actually pretty freaking cool. Why are you even here if it's like you don't want to play? I'm not here to play. I'm here to study. I'm going to be a real detective someday. You know what? You suck. Boo. Oh, so it's like school to you. Wow, that's so boring. Shut up. If you're not going to take this seriously, just leave already. We don't need you. What the fuck is going on? Yeah, but the thing is, I don't wanna. Why do you have to ruin everything? You don't even care. You suck. Where's this coming from? Boo, buddy. Shut up. Hold on. Oh, there he goes. It gets so annoying when we play detective. Oh, I know. What if we do the next one without telling him? What? Wow. All right. Let's have a little chat, Cherry. Cherry, you two need to make up. This is getting ridiculous. No, but Boo just left. You want to talk to him? Right? Nice try. You heard me. Huh.
Yeah, let's just not play with him. He's upset for some reason. He stormed off. That's stupid, but let's do it.
Okay, Rapunzel complex. Okay. Alright, you guys remember this one, right? Yeah, we did this like 2 seconds ago. It's time for Act 2. Last time we ended on a bit of a sour note. Good thing you guys talked it out in a civilized manner and made up, right? This guy had some issues. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm on whatever this girl's actual name is. Site. Okay. Yeah, didn't think so. Oh, hey, the balconies are gone. Yeah, I did remove them. Let me explain. I actually simplified a few things from the real mystery. It would have been too hard otherwise. Really? You did that for Shay, right? Dad, I could have solved it anyway. Oh my god, this kid. Oh, don't take it as me doubting you two. I just thought it would be better to do it like this. So let's go over what the tower actually looked like. First, the previous version of the tower, I said the guest room had balconies, but in reality, they just had regular windows. Oh, that means you can't jump down, right? Correct. Yeah, I mean, you could. Correct. The other night, we said the killer escaped by jumping down from the roof. Sorry, but with no balconies, that would be not quite work out. Okay, I get it. Let's start activating detective mode. Hold on. Don't go activating anything yet. There's something else that's different. Take a quick look at the crime scene. See if you can spot anything new. Lock. Yeah. There's something on the window. What's that? I should have brought my magnifying glass. It's a bolt. If you slide that little metal bar, it locks the window. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because when the servants broke into the room and discovered the body, it wasn't only the door that was locked, the window was bolted shut too. Okay, Let me spoil you that the killer entered the room exactly like we talked about last time. That's not the problem here. The problem is how they escaped from the room, leaving both the door and the window locked. Oh, and check out the guest room before doing anything else. There's something important in there. Try not to miss it. And that's it. Now let's go to the solving. Detective mode activated. Okay. Still the same here though. So he must have hid like in the wardrobe or something. Table, needle, thread, scissor, books. Key, candle, table. Lock. Plant. Lock. Right. Hee, that's so cute. Okay, let's go to the guest room then. Rope! Okay, but the rooms below the princess chamber's guest room, nobody tampered with the crime scene after the door was forced open, so it was still locked then. How did the killer escape, leaving both the door and the window locked? I get it, this isn't that hard. You think so? Well, if you figure it out, let's go back to when the crime happened. The culprit kills the princess and needs to flee the scene. How do they escape from the top of the tower? They didn't escape. Maybe they didn't escape at all, they just hid somewhere. Not a chance. Everyone was gathering after the body was discovered and no one was missing. Okay. Escaping from their hiding spot unseen to take part in the roundup wouldn't have been possible. Right, I see. Okay. Wait, I need to... Wait, let me go back. Another killer escaped, leaving the door. Diorama shows the state of the tower moments before the body was found. The princess welcomed the royal family over the tower. The princess had a meeting with her aunt. She seemed distressed. A couple of servants escorted her to the room. The next morning, a few servants heard it locked. Found her dead. When inspecting the room, the window was bolted shut. The servants gathered everyone together, but no one claimed to know anything. The victim was smothered with a pillow. The room below the princess chamber were guest rooms. Nobody tampered with the crime scene after the door was forced open. The key found inside the bedroom is only capable of opening the door. The princess room has no gaps at all. The princess room has no gaps at all between the window and the window frame. The window in the princess room is in perfect state. There are no scratches on it. Oh, okay. Picture. An instruction pamphlet describing a rope trick used for this case. Okay. Advanced rope trickery. Problem. You have a rope tied to a tree and you want to get it back quickly. Okay. This is easy if you use a quick release knot. Just pull from the end of the rope and the knot comes undone. You can't even tie a second rope. You can even tie a second rope to the end of the first one. This lets you retrieve the rope from far away. Pulling the blue rope will undo the knot. Okay. These knots have some limitations and caveats in the real world, which we completely ignore. Okay. So he must have climbed down all the way. Right. It's like... So he tied the rope to the beds using the window or something? And jumped down. No, he couldn't because the window was locked. How did the killer escape from the top of the tower? Because of what they used. I mean, okay. Rope. The killer used a rope, right? To climb down, I mean. Yeah, that's good. A little obvious, maybe. But of course, that's what the new clues are for. Yeah, and they used a... what is it called? Here. A quick release knot. They used that to get the rope back. Perfect, perfect. And what did the killer tie the rope to? What do you mean? You know, they would have needed to tie the rope to something. Otherwise, something funny would have occurred. You just tie it to something. Does it matter what? Of course it does. Getting the details right is important, boss. Let's be precise here. What exactly did the criminal tie the rope to before climbing down? I mean, I feel like it would be there. Tying into that? Not sure what you mean. Damn it. Okay, well. To there. Oh. Just to the tower. To the tower! I see. What was right in front of us all along? The truth. Shay, cut it out, I'm thinking. If I can figure it out, what chances do you have? Oh my god. Yes, my dear Balsam, I see you carefully investigating the crime scene, but you failed to notice that if the rope was tied to something inside the room, then the villain wouldn't have been able to close the window. Yeah, big deal, I already know that, so what? It's simple. If the rope wasn't tied to something inside the room, then it must have been tied to something outside of it. Like the tower itself. Oh, really, Shay? The tower? Very smart. Can I keep actually trying to solve this now? You don't see it, do you? Don't fret. I shall gladly explain how the escape took place. The killer climbed onto the roof and closed the window behind them. Then, with the rope in hand, they circled around the tower. After coming back around, they made a knot and climbed down towards freedom, supported by nothing else than the cursed tower itself. Good job, Pumpkin. Not Sherry. Nice thinking outside the box. That's the tough one, too. I mean, of course, it's the most elementary. He's joking. Oh, Dad? You don't? There's no way that's the answer. Tying a rope to something so big is ridiculous. I wasn't kidding. Why is it ridiculous? I mean, I don't know. It sounded weird because of how Shay explained it. This kid. Like, wouldn't you need a lot of rope to do that? There was. Look. You can tie everything up to make a super rope. But... okay, whatever. If Dad says it works, it's fine, I guess. Come on, you're a smart kid. You don't need to take my word for it. Do you think your sister's idea makes sense or not? Yeah, it makes sense. Great. So we're all on the same page here. Now, the criminal closed the window from the outside of the bedroom just before climbing down. But they wouldn't be able to lock it since the bolt is on the inside. So the next question is, how exactly did the killer bolt the window? What they used? I mean, no. When they bolted it. Wait, what if the killer was one of the servants that found the body and they locked it before anyone could tell? That's not too crazy idea, but I'm telling you right there, that's not what happened. Nobody tampered with the crime scene after the door was first opened. Damn it! How did the killer bolt the window? I don't know. Because if we take this because of what they used to bolt it, we have to click on something, and I don't know what that would be. Okay, let's hint it up. The killer set up something inside the room before escaping through the window. What was it? But there was no crack, so he couldn't have done it with the rope. So he did use something. The curtains? I mean... What they used to bolt it. I mean... Yeah, the curtain. Sorry, I don't see what you mean. I don't know. The clock? No. Alright, you know what? I don't know. doing a hint. I don't care if I get 0 points. I really don't care. The killer bolted the window from the outside of the room, what could be used to manipulate the bolt from far away. But they said there was no cracks in the window. Some more rope. Oh, the bad guy tied another rope to the lock. I like that, but there's a problem with that. Do you know what I'm talking about? I know the killer is outside the room, but the bolt is on the inside because everything is closed. You can't pass something. Oh, why not? Well, the rope is pretty thick, Sherry. You wouldn't be able to fit them through. Oh, okay, I get it. Ha! Better luck next time, Sherry. I don't know. Bow, 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 ba-dow, bow, 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 ba-dow, bow, bow. The clock. Yeah, sure. Sorry, I don't know what you mean. Okay, but I still, like... Holy shit, okay. What did I use? I don't know. Skip it. Because I don't know. Once the killer left the bedroom, accessing the bolt seems impossible. Unless, of course, he locked it from far away, which could have been easily done with a gentle pull of a thread. Where was the thread? Where was the... What the thread! I'm so dumb. Thread! The thing went on the lock thingy. It's in the whole keyhole. And not the room. But there was guards outside. That's why I didn't think it would... Okay, whatever. That one annoyed me a lot. Actually, I don't know why I'm getting so annoyed, but they were like, oh, the servants were standing there. I thought she had a guarded room, but no. Okay, after the bad guy climbed down, they merrily returned to the room from the outside. And with a simple ball of the red, they bolted the window shut. And using a stick rope out of there, a thread is just a tiny rope after all. Okay, not really. Actually, no. No. And thus the ruse was complete. Is that right? It sure is. Very nice, Pumpkin. You got it. No, I skipped it. Just take my job, sir. What? She's right again? No way. Yes way. Bow down, bow so. Oh my god. Ace's text coming through. Gah, what's going on? No, wait, that doesn't make sense. Why not? To lock the window, you have to push the bolt to the side. If you pull from the door, you're pulling the wrong way. You can't lock the window like that. Oh, what? That's it? Yeah, that means you're wrong. Not really, though. No, he's got a point. Pulling the bolt away from the window doesn't quite lock it. I don't get it. So you just have to pull the thread like... Yeah. Isn't it easy to make it work anyway? Love the confidence. Alright, I'm all ears, Sherry. How did the criminal manage to slide the bolt sideways? Because of what they used. The bed. The bad guy just wrapped a string around something in the room. So the string went like this. And then like that. And that way they pulled the string, the lock to move to the left. Oh. And that, my dear person, is how it's done. You got it, baby. You're on fire today. Yeah, did it. Case solved. Fantastic work, kiddos. Let's review. After committing the crime, what did the criminal do? They tied a little string to the window. Exactly. And they passed it through the keyhole so that the end of the string could be pulled from the outside. Imagine it would have been like fall off. Then they took a second string, tied it to the first one, and repeated the process. This would let them remove it later. The criminal then climbed onto the roof and closed the window behind them. What happened after that? The killer went around the tower holding a rope. Then they tied it and used it to climb down. There you go, and don't forget the killer used 2 ropes here as well. After the killer snuck into the guest room, they pulled the second rope down to retrieve everything. Having escaped, they quickly went back upstairs to the princess' room. and pulled the string passing through the keyhole, bolting the window shut. Then they pulled the second string to retrieve everything from the scene using the same trick as before. And without any clue left behind, the locked room mystery was completed.
Yeah.
Okay. Solid.
Dad, Chai is cheating.
Whoa, where'd that come from? Come on, your sister wouldn't do that. Yeah, that'd be lame.
She's trying to trick you, Dad. There's no way you figured out everything out by yourself.
My god, this boy. Why not? Besides, the story is rare, Chief. She couldn't have known it beforehand if that's what you're suggesting. But then how? My awesome detective skills, duh. So you seriously just came up with all that? You're kidding, right? No, I clicked skip, actually. Nope. That makes no sense. All you do is say, oh, that's elementary. Pretend you're smart or something. That's exactly what you do, though. Oh god, these kids. I don't even like the way you dress anymore. I'm the one who's actually trying to be a detective. You just can't figure out things faster than me. Bo, you like those police people that say the obvious wrong things before the real detective shows up. You're trying to be a detective, but I already am one. I'm Sherry, the super detective. I can solve everything. No, you're not. You're just pretending. What the fuck? See, that's what I'm saying. Obvious. If you can't see I'm a real detective, how are you going to see anything else? Boring people can only solve boring mysteries. What did you say? Hold on, time out. As fun as it is to see you two bicker, give me a hand cleaning up first, right? What?
Okay. Shay, wait. Tell me how you actually solved it for real time, hey? La 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 la, I'm not listening. Shay, stop ignoring me, Shay.
Okay. Oh my god, okay. Shadow of the goat. Right. Let's see how many puzzles I have to skip this time. This story took place during a masquerade ball. The host was a man donning a leopard mask. Leopard opened the door to his castle and welcomed a myriad of guests that filled the main hall. While the evening started on a pleasant note, trouble started brewing around a man wearing a goat mask. The man in question said "bah." It was a noble nobody was fond of. He was having a heated discussion with the other guests. Drunk, he blurted out that he had studied the occult and was capable of disappearing from any locked room. People laughed at him, but Goat doubled down, daring everyone to put some money on the line. 6 people accepted his wager: lion, owl, deer, peacock, rabbit, and fox. Led by Goat, they moved to a secluded part of the castle. The goat was a guest, though. Okay. After descending a flight of stairs, they arrived at a dark dungeon hall. Deeper in the dungeon, behind a wooden door, was a cell corridor thinly illuminated by the moonlight. That's so cute. Goat lit up a pair of candles and offered them to the group, allowing them to inspect the place as they saw fit. After a thorough inspection, the group found no means of escape. Goat himself was also searched, revealing only an ancient book in his possessions. Once everyone was satisfied, Goat took one of the candles and instructed everyone to wait in the dungeon hall. He grinned in the candlelight as the group closed the door, sealing him away. Nervous chatter filled the air as the group waited anxiously in the hall. Deer, holding the second candle, illuminated the wooden door the wooden door the entire time. 15 minutes later, he got a Wi-Fi signal. A piercing shriek resonated throughout the dungeon. When Deer opened the door, he froze up. Everyone saw the same thing, a lone flickering light coming from the last cell. The group rushed forward in an excited panic. There they discovered a candle and the book abandoned on the cell floor, but Goat was missing. Everyone quickly checked all the cells, but to their shock, Goat wasn't in any of them. Owl then revealed that after seeing people rush in, he stood behind to block the exits. While the group searched, he felt no one going past him. The barred windows were tightly secured, and there was nothing inside the dungeon that could have explained the escape. As promised, Goat had disappeared. Okay, so he disappeared. Hold on, Chief. Who said I'm finished? Huh? You didn't? Yeah, the night didn't end there because 15 minutes after Goat vanished, as the group searched the dungeon for him, he was spotted in the main hall. Witnesses saw him having a conversation with Leopard before the two left together. Castle guards reported that they headed towards Leopard's chambers. Ooh. Another 15 minutes passed before the group returned defeated from the dungeon. They were in disbelief when people told them that Goat had been seen leaving with Leopard. Sensing something was wrong, they decided to split up and search for them. Most members of the group didn't find anything until several screams echoed in the distance. People started arriving one by one at the source of the commotion, the castle armory. Everyone noticed broken pieces of a barricade, indicating the door had been forced open. Inside the room, Fox tried to wake up a battered and unconscious lion who sat beneath a window. Nobody knew what was happening, but one fact was certain: Goat was not present in the armory either. Fox then gave her testimony to what took place. After they went their separate ways, strange noises coming from the armory prompted her to investigate. She tried to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. She raised her voice, asking if anyone was inside. Suddenly, she heard a scream from Lion, followed by a brief struggle and the sound of glass shattering. Then silence. In panic, she grabbed an axe hanging just outside the armory and struck the door until it opened. Lion was laying collapsed beneath the window, but nobody else was there. Fox stayed by Lion's side until the rest of the group arrived. After Lion woke up, they asked him what had happened as well. He recounted finding Goat lurking in the armory. He questioned him about Leopard, but he played the fool. They argued until Lion heard Fox's voice through the door. Before he could answer, Goat abruptly pulled up a knife and stabbed him. A struggle ensued. Lion managed to wrestle the knife away from him. However, he was forcibly pushed against the window, losing consciousness as he hit his head. But just before he did, he was certain that Goat was standing right next to him. When he woke up, he was surrounded by Fox and the rest of the group. Then everyone had a horrible realization. Nobody had seen Leopard yet. In a frantic sprint, the group ran towards his chamber. The door was locked. They breached the room only to find Leopard dead on the floor. The police arrived at the scene but found themselves terribly puzzled. Every corner inside the castle was searched, but there were no conceivable hiding spots. The area outside the castle was inspected, but there was no traces of an escape. Everyone's masks were removed, but not a single one revealed the man behind the goat mask. He had disappeared again. At last, everyone believed him. This air, this foul stench, just what on earth happened here? Ah, what? I didn't say anything. Just do whatever you want, like you always do. What the hell? Okay. I don't know where to start anyway. This looks really complicated. True. How did the first part go again? Haha! It's a lot to take in, right? But I have absolute confidence that you two will figure it out. Just take your time, talk to each other. You got this. Oh my god. Due to the complexity of the case, the card has been split up between all the dioramas. It is recommended to start by reviewing all the available evidence. Okay. Oh gosh, stop! Snap! Find out the truth behind the disappearance and the attacks committed inside the castle. The dioramas show how the castle looked when the police arrived. Oh my. Cool. Group photo of the people involved with the case. My god, look at them cankles. Guards outside the castle watched over the bridge and reported that no one left all night. There were no footprints or traces in the dirt surrounding the castle. Everyone had access to the castle rooftop. Okay. Goat's mask was unique. There weren't any duplicates. That's what I was thinking, that there were two goats, because he played the fool when they said that he talked to Leopard. Goat is a master at faking other people's voices. Interesting, okay. Goat had one accomplice that night. Yeah, obviously. Brody. Okay, but I wanted to go to... there. Oh my god, that's so cool. Rope. Shackles. Pickaxe. Stone window. Dungeon door. Torch. Can we... oh, we can. Okay. Bloody book. Prison bed. How did Goat disappeared multiple times inside the castle? Oh wait, no. Oh, this is hard. Oh really? Shouldn't you have all the answers by now? Oh god, stop saying that. Oh, that's a scary face you're making there, buddy. Dad, he keeps bothering me since the last case. He's so annoying. Make him stop. Stop crying. I'm just making sure you're not a cheater. You're doing something better than me, therefore you must be cheating. I mean, if you're so smart, it should be easy to, right? What's the solution, Shay? You don't know? I'm not telling. You're just asking because you're stuck.
No, I'm not. I know more than you do, at least.
Now I know why I gave him such a stupid voice in the beginning. If you both know some parts of the story, let's put everything together. Yeah, see if we can complete the puzzle. Fine.
Let's see if you know something I don't, Shay.
Probably. Excellent, I think. Let's start by understanding how the first disappearance happened. If you recall, Goat was sealed away in the castle dungeon. However, when the group opened the door and checked, he was nowhere to be found. So what's the secret? How did he slip out with anyone noticing? Because of what he used, because of where he was, because of when he escaped, because of who let him out. Yeah, Owl. Because he was in the door. No, Owl didn't help Goat. You can be sure that Owl isn't the accomplice. He's telling the truth. When was that? When was that? When was that? Oh, is it because I went into... oh, my god. Okay. Find out the truth behind the disappearance and the attack committed inside the castle. Okay. The dioramas show how the castle looked when the police arrived. Okay, the dioramas of the rooms are mirrored. The windows leads to the moat, not the courtyard. Oh, okay, I get it. A mask party was hosted by Duke Leopard. Many guests gathered in the main hall to socialize. Goat, an infamous noble, proposed a bet that he could disappear from a room using dark magic. Lion, owl, deer, peacock, rabbit, and fox took him on that bet. Leopard was not present. The group arrived at at a dark dungeon. After inspecting it, they found no means of escape. Goat was also patted down, and there was nothing on his person but an ancient book. The group left Goat alone in the cell corridor with a single candle and closed the door. Everyone waited in the dungeon hall. Deer illuminated the door the whole time. After 15 minutes passed, a loud shriek resonated behind the door. Deer opened the door. Everyone saw a candlelight shining from the last cell. They rushed to the last cell where only the candle and the book remained. The group inspected all the cells, but Goat was gone. Nothing strange was found either. Owl revealed that after seeing people rush in, he moved to block the entry to the cell corridor. Owl didn't feel anyone forcing their way out while the group inspected the dungeon. Fact, Owl isn't the accomplice, he is telling the truth. Okay, so he's standing there, but I feel like he would be standing like here or something, hiding. And then he would slip out, but there's like nowhere to do that. And that's out to the moat. How did he escape? When he escaped? Well, he couldn't get out because they were lighting the door because of where he was. I don't know. Okay, let's boat. Duplicated clothes. Okay. Lion's body. Lucky he wasn't like killed. Shield. Axe. Close that door. Barrel torch sword. Chainmail mannequin. Damn, they actually did all of that. That's crazy. Okay. Coins. Bloody handkerchief, okay. More bloody handkerchiefs, okay. Bed. Documents, quill, ink, chair, and a candle. Chainmail. Wardrobe. Leper's body. Okay. Okay. Who was it? Lion, owl, deer, peacock, rabbit, and fox. And it's not owl. Okay, but I still think someone helped him. Okay. Who let him out? So it's the lion. Because of the clothes? I don't think so. Okay. After locking up Goat, Deer lit the door the whole time. Nobody saw Goat leave. And after the group went inside, Owl blocked the exit and didn't feel anyone forcing his way out. Nobody had the opportunity to let Goat out without the rest of the group noticing. Okay, so what he used then? But he didn't have it with him. What if he didn't escape? Yeah, I was thinking that too. There was a lion mask in the armory. I didn't say it just because of that. Goat was able to mimic voices, right? And he was similar to Lion too. So if Goat had his mask, he'd be able to trick the others into thinking he was Lion. Nice, I like what I'm hearing. There is no way to escape in such a short period of time, so you're on the right track here. But answer me this, if Goat was disguised as Lion when when the group was looking for him, how did nobody notice there were two lions? In fact, why didn't Lion notice there was another lion lurking around? Surely he would have noticed. Oh, that! Oh, the reason is quite simple. Because of what Goat used, because of where Goat was, because of where Lion was, they stayed in different cells. What if Goat stayed in one cell the whole time? As long as Lion never got in, that'd work, right? Even if they were in different cells, somebody's going from one cell into the next one would realize something's wrong. But maybe Goat was careful and he stayed in the dark the whole time. It's not impossible, but it's a narrow space, Chief. He'd have to be pretty lucky not to be found out. The real trick Goat used had more chances of succeeding than that. If Goat disguised himself as Lion, why did no one notice two lions in the cell door? I mean, so if Lion was his accomplice, right? Then Lion must have left. There were never two lions in the room. The real Lion never went through the door at all. Huh? Why not? Because he was an agent of evil with a heart as dark as the night. What does that even mean? It means they were working together. I see, I get it, they switched. Precisely. This trick is a two-man act, the mastermind Goat, the lackey Lion. While Goat was trapped, he disguised himself as his partner. He faked a scream and hid like a weasel in the darkness of one of the cells. When the group ran inside, they flew right by him, blinded by the light of the candle, not noticing that someone had stayed behind. Right, Lion, the group entered without him. Nobody realized that because it was dark. And while they were checking the last cell, Goat blended in. Sorry. He blended in as Lion, I guess. Yeah! Exactly, you guys are crushing it so far. Crushing it! It's as you said, there's only so much you can do alone. Thankfully for Goat, he had a partner in crime. So is that it? Have you explained everything that took place in the dungeon? I think so. Well, there's something, but maybe... There's something, but maybe it's obvious. If it isn't obvious to you, boss, it isn't obvious. Fire away. Okay, how did Goat even get Lion's clothes? I mean, yeah, exactly. That's what I said. You patted him down. How did you do that? I mean, they weren't in the dungeon when the group checked the first time. And Goat wasn't hiding them with him either. Yeah. Oh, I bet it's not that hard to do. You just do it somehow. No, details. That's what it's all about. You're right, Chief. That's what I was waiting to hear. How did Goat get Lion's mask and clothes to make the switch? Figure that out and you'll start to unravel this whole thing. I mean, he couldn't have hidden it in the book. Because of what he used, because of when he received it. There. Sounds like the right timing, but how? How did the Goat get his disguise? I meant boat because of what he used, because of castle. No. Can we not see the back side of the castle? Are you serious? I wanted to take the boat. Yeah, okay, but... I wanted to take this one. The boat. Ay vey. Okay, how did Goat get this disguise? Because of what he used. Yeah, but I can't... why can't I... Can we open it? Okay, well... Let's try it. Sorry, I don't see any idea. I wanted to take the freaking boat! I can't... There. I can't even choose it. I wanted to choose the boat. Oh, there. Now I can. Stupid. Maybe the clothes were on the boat and the boat was closed so he could grab them. That's a good idea, but it wouldn't work, Pumpkin. The cells... Oh, the cell windows are high up. Okay. The boat possibly floating away would also be a problem. Not if the lion guy was on the boat. That's right, he delivered the goods himself. No, what are you saying? Lion was waiting in the dungeon with the rest of the group. Maybe he secretly left just after they trapped the goat man, you don't know. That doesn't sound right. Yeah, no, it'd be too risky even if he could leave completely unnoticed. What if someone tried to talk to him? He wouldn't be able to answer once he was gone. It's not a bad idea, but we want a solution that's more reasonable to pull off than that. Okay, so how did he get it? Through the cell windows? No, they were too high up. I don't think you could hide it in the bloody book. That one is open though. Rope. Because someone used the rope. Surely through the window. I see. This is like that trick in the tower, Shay. Is it? You mean the one with the rope? Oh, a rope. That's a good one. Yeah, they were never going to find anything inside the dungeon. Because the costume was outside. Ah, right. Oh, because he had access to the roof. Okay. Goat put Lion's costume inside a bag, tied it to a rope and dropped it downstairs. The rope dangled right next to one of the prison windows. That's like in Obra Dinn. You remember the foot hanging outside the window? You just need to stick out your hand and you'd be able to reach it. Ah, perfect. Couldn't have explained it better myself. The fog of doubt clears up, one mystery at a time. So that's how the first trick was done, but we're not quite done yet. There's a bunch of stuff that happened after that, right? Exactly. Let's back up a bit and focus on what happened right after Goat disappeared inside the dungeon. People saw him again with the dead guy. Wait, that's weird. We just said Goat didn't actually escape from the dungeon. Oh, you didn't figure that out yet, Bosun? What, you did? Shut up. Give me a second. Goat snuck from the dungeon. It was Lion in disguise. Right, just like Goat pretended to be Lion, Lion pretended to be Goat. Ding ding! Yeah, I'm going to wait for Dad to give me the green light here. Oh, she's my substitute. I'm running out of steam here. Give it another go, Sherry. Ding ding ding! Aw. That said, how did Lion end up with the goats? Goat mask. Weren't any duplicates. Yeah. Goat had his mask when he was locked inside the dungeon. So how did Lion manage to obtain it from the outside? I think Shay wants to answer that since you know so much already. From the bag, right? The goatman got rid of his mask and put it in the bag. That's why nobody found it after that. And all the lion guy had to do was pull up the rope, open the bag, and there you go. Okay, yeah, I was going to say that too.
I want to say that too.
Perfect. Those are my detectives. We've made some great progress. You might want to start focusing a bit about, how to handle disputes, fights between children. We've explained how Goat disappeared and how it's possible he was seen shortly afterwards in the main hall. Moreover, we've uncovered the fact that Goat and Lion were accomplices, so we know quite a bit at this point. Okay, but why did they do it? But there are two issues we haven't touched on yet. The attack in Leopard's room and in the armory. What happened in the armory is particularly confusing. Goat disappeared again and Lion was assaulted. Yeah, but now we know that Lion and Goat were together. Lion being there doesn't seem like such a coincidence, does it? But it's weird that he got stabbed if he was a bad guy as well. Maybe they had a fight. Maybe? Well, that's part of what you've got to figure out. Why don't you take another look at the clues again? Maybe after knowing what happened in the dungeon, you can make some more deductions. You do that, and once you're ready, we'll figure it out together. And we'll figure out together the truth behind it all.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. But that's just the mask. I mean... Okay, so we're gonna get some new clues here, right? Okay. Alright. What happened in Leopard's room? Leopard's room and in the armory. Okay, so... Find out the truth behind the appearance and attack and committing inside the castle. Yes. The dioramas shows how the castle looked when the police arrived. Yes. The dioramas and room are mirrored. The windows leads to the moat, not to the courtyard. 30 minutes after Goat vanished, the group that went to the dungeon returned to the main hall. Worried when they heard Goat was seen with Leopard, the group split up to search for them. Most members of the group found nothing until they heard shouts from the armory. Inside the armory, Fox was trying to wake up an unconscious Lion. Goat wasn't in the room. Everyone in the castle removed their mask, but no one was the man behind the Goat mask. Police arrived and searched every corner of the castle, but Goat was nowhere to be found. After splitting up, Fox heard some noises coming from the armory. She tried to open up the door, but it didn't budge. She asked if someone was there. She heard Lion screaming, followed by glass shattering, and then silence. Fox broke the door with an axe and found Lion unconscious against the window. After splitting up, Lion found Goat in the armory and questioned him about Leopard. They both heard Fox's voice from the outside. Suddenly, Goat stabbed Lion with a knife. Lion managed to wrestle the knife away from Goat, but was shoved and lost consciousness. Facts: duplicates of Lion's masks and clothes were found on the table, even though he was fully clothed. Lion survived with a deep stab in his shoulder and a concussion on the back of his head. I spy with my little eye tricks and buffoonery. I shall leave no clues unturned. Yes, quite brutal. What's this? Oh, the villains were cunning indeed. I see. What, did you think of something? Bosun, my boy. I'm afraid there's too much I see right now. Yes, there's a lot that went down, wasn't there? So, where should we begin? How Goat escaped from the armory. Elementary. We should start there, yes, but let me give you a hand here. There's something that you might have missed. It's something that's easy not to think about, but it will give you a better view of what happened. What I want you to think about is this. Who planned Leopard's murder? Who planned it? Wasn't it Lion and Goat? They were working together, right? We did say that, but Lion testified a Goat stabbed him and ran away. Yeah, but so is it a trick? Or is it an actual betrayal? Did everything go as planned or not exactly? The key is understanding The key to understanding that is asking ourselves why Leopard's murder happened the way it did. So what do you think? I'll let it simmer for a bit. Okay, but let's then go to this one. See what it says. Find the truth behind the disappearances. Diorama shows they are mirrored. Okay, 15 minutes after Goat vanished in the dungeon, he was seen in the main hall with Leopard. Shortly after Leopard, the Goat was seen heading into Leopard's chamber. So at this point, it's actually not Goat, it's Lion. That's going with Leopard. After Lion was found in the armory, the group tried entering Leopard's room, but it was locked. They forced the door open and found Leopard dead. Leopard had a stab wound in the back of his neck. He died quickly and quietly. Leopard always carried a key that could open any castle door, but it wasn't on his corpse. Okay, so they killed to get... Can you open the window? No. Lion. I'm not sure. This is kind of confusing. Is that so? I'm afraid I can't relate. I see the truth clear as day. Ugh, of course. Spit it out then. What is it? You just need to put on your detective hat, bosun. Riddle me this. Who would people blame for Leopard's death? Goat, I guess. People saw him with Leopard before he died. Quite. But in truth, who killed him? I don't know. Do you? It's crystal clear. It was Lion, no? Because he had traded places with Goat. What else was Lion planning to do with Leopard if not kill him? Talk? Play checkers? There were some papers in the room, maybe that. Then what reason could Lion have to change masks? That is weird. It's simple, really. He put on the Goat mask to pin the murder on him. What? They're working together, Shay. I mean, unless Goat only knew the dungeon trick and nothing else. Tis the natural conclusion. Lion was plotting a ruse of his own against his partner. While Goat gave him an alibi by pretending to be him in the dungeon, Lion took Goat's identity to commit murder. He was no lackey. He was the true mastermind all along. Yeah. Case solved. Not even close, but okay, yeah, it makes sense. So maybe Lion being attacked wasn't a trick after all. Yeah, and I know how he got away too. Huh? Really? Look at this. The Lion guy was knocked out slightly below the window, which means it's possible the Goat man escaped through the window after hitting the Lion guy. But he'd fall into the water then, so is that really it? Actually, listen, what? Oh no, shit, I clicked. And while folks were checking, a Lion Goat just left. That works. Okay, let me interrupt for a second. You're doing great though. I like where this is going. Leaving through the window or through the door, both are perfectly possible at first glance. But after leaving the armory, what then? What did Goat do? He ran away, because he wasn't in the castle. How? The guards didn't see anyone leaving through the front gate. And there weren't any footprints outside of the castle. You see, it's not leaving the armory that's the problem. The real head-scratcher here is how Goat managed to escape from the castle. That's the big question, the most important one yet. So let's hear your answers. How did Goat vanish a second time? Oh, he took a new identity? Maybe? Wait, what if? What if he switched back? Because he went back to, well, the Goat, the Goat guy is gone. What if he's actually in the water? He dead. Because he couldn't find him, right? How did Goat leave the castle without being seen and without leaving traces? He took a new identity. He turned to Lion. He never escaped. The police just didn't notice it was him. Goat used his mastery of deception once again. I mean, he disposed of his mask and took a new identity just like he had done before. No, that's not it. Everyone got rid of their masks when the police arrived. Yeah, exactly. People knew what Goat looked like behind the mask, so they would have recognized him. But what if he pretended to be Lion? They could never check him. Why not? Because he was hurt and it would have been rude to bother him. Sorry to say, pumpkin officers can be rude too. Oh, well, they shouldn't. Okay, so how did Goat leave the castle without being seen or without leaving trace? Because of what he used, because of where he was, because of who helped. In the water. Maybe he was underwater? Are you asking me or is that your answer? He was underwater. Correct. But you'll need to clarify what you mean for me. What exactly was Goat doing in the moat? He was dead. Someone threw him. Hold on, I just realized something. If Goat didn't kill anyone, why would he even escape? Because Lion Man set him up for killing that other guy, remember? He had to run away. No, but that's dumb. If he's framed, he should have stayed and cleared his name. True, Bosun, true. But that's kind of funny. That means Lion had to kill Goatman. It does? Yeah, you just said it. If Goatman talked to the cops, he'd tell them they switched places. So then wouldn't Lion have killed Goatman so he wouldn't spill the beans? I guess that's true. Huh. But it looks like Lion got stabbed, but he stabbed instead. Very mysterious. Let us try to reconstruct what happened. Perhaps it will lead us to the truth. The two men gather in the armory. Goat is distracted. And then, betrayal! Lion pulls out a knife and attacks, but Goat turns around and stops the knife with his mouth. And then it's like, ha! I knew it all along! And Lion was like, what? And then... No, wait, Shay, I got it right. It was so obvious. There's no footprints outside because Goat didn't actually escape. And the police didn't find him because they had something wrong. They thought he was alive, but he was deep underwater dead. Oh, I get it. You're right. I wasn't thinking that. It's like you say, Shay. Lion got stabbed. Lion getting stabbed was a trick. The truth is that Lion killed Goat. But he had to hide the body because Lion wanted to frame Goat for everything. So he probably had a bag full of heavy things hidden somewhere. After killing Goat, he tied the bag to the body and then dumped it through the window. Excellent. That's exactly what happened. Yeah, awesome. High five. Haha, yeah. You kids are getting too good at this. You'll pull me out of a job if I'm not careful. You think so? I think so. That said, sorry to cut the celebration short, but there's a little something you haven't explained yet. ... question mark? Don't get me wrong, for all the intents and purposes you got the bad guy. But let's make sure we understand exactly how it happened, alright? Alright, great. That's what I like to hear. And then let's start with this. When exactly did the killing take place? When did Lion kill Goat? I mean, somewhere around here. Between the group split up and Fox Knox. Well, after killing Goat, you'd need some time to weigh down the body and do everything else, so it must have been before Fox knocked on the door. Exactly, Chief. But if that's the case, what part of the crime scene doesn't seem to make sense? Lion stab wound. Lion's duplicate clothes. I mean, the stab wound, I guess. The lion guy lied, and he wasn't really attacked because Goat was dead by then. The fight the fox lady heard behind the door was all fake. Correct again. Oh, so if Lion wasn't really attacked, then how was he stabbed? Himself. He did it himself. It's a trick. All right. How do you figure? Because it sounds like that's the answer. Haha. That's a compelling argument, but aren't there any other reasons? I know, if Lion had been stabbed by Goat, he wouldn't have been able to dump the body. His wound was deep and people are heavy, and he would have spilled blood everywhere, so he must have been okay while he was throwing the body, which means the only possible culprit for the stabbing was himself. Or not, maybe that's too much. You're right, boss, chin up. And you do make a good point there, it is too much. This is where I wanted us to end up. Nobody could stab Lion but himself, but why would he even do that? Goat's body was already disposed of by the time Fox arrived, so why not simply open the door for her? If you think about it, the reason we discovered what happened to Goat was because we investigated the armory, which only occurred because Lion got attacked there. Calling attention to the place where he killed someone minutes before doesn't sound very smart, does it? This means that Lion must have had a strong reason for fabricating this lie. And that's the last riddle of the night. Why did Lion stab himself? I see, there's a mystery remaining. It seems difficult. But if we just think about it, the truth that the treacherous mastermind tried to sink into the ocean will have no choice but to float back up to the surface. No choice. Oh, I got it. It's simple. I know what it is. You do? What is it? The floor is all yours, Bumpy, and send us off with your answer. Because of what forced him to do it to make Goat more suspicious. I mean... What forced him to do it? I mean, I thought the answer would be to make himself seem less suspicious, but okay. It was to make Goatman more suspicious and evil and to make himself the victim. There's some of that, yes, but there's not enough motive. Why didn't Lion just pretend he didn't know anything? He could have avoided an investigation in the armory. Ultimately, it's about shifting blame. You got that right. But there's a very specific reason behind it. Why did Lion stab himself? Okay, so what forced him to do it? Is it something in the... Because he was forced to do it. What made Lion stab himself? I mean, why to the armory? That's what I'm thinking. Documents, sure, yes. Some paper in the dead guy room. It was because of that. No, not really. I mean... The dead body? I'm not sure what you mean. Okay. Why is it? Oh, no. Because of blood? Oh, right. Because there was blood in the room after he killed. Okay, yeah. Because the blood. Oh, right. Okay, we come a long way to understand everything that happened. Let's take it from the top. Starting with our villain, we had two this time around. Yeah, who were they? Lion and goat, right? Right. This whole thing started when those two made a pact weeks before everything went down. You see, Lion had a bit of a gambling problem and was deep in debt. He reached out to Goat with the plan to swindle a couple of fools out of their money. So the night of the party came, the two men riled each other up, which is when Goat brought up the bet. Lion accepted immediately and managed to get a few more people into the ruse. Then everybody went down to the dungeon. The place was searched, but there was nothing to find. And just like that, Goat was sealed away. What did he do then? He grabbed Lion's clothes. They were tied up to a bag that was just outside the window. Yeah, and then he dressed up as the lion guy and put his own clothes back into the bag so nobody could find them after that. Exactly. Then he played a little trick by putting the book and the candle in the last cell. Not really important. And after a while, he screamed at the top of his lungs and hid. Then what? Everyone saw the candlelight from the last cell. They must have thought something bad happened to him because of the scream. So they all ran all the way to the end. Everyone except for Lion. Right, Lion was in on it. The whole trick was that Goat would pretend he was Lion. This was possible because they all wore masks and Goat had a talent for mimicking voices. So they made the switch, right? Then, when exactly? The group arrived at the last cell, one person short without realizing it. And while they were scared and confused, Ghost sneakily appeared behind them. Thus, the ruse was complete. Yeah, so Goat So Goat would keep up the charade for a bit longer as the group tried to find him in the dungeon. And once everyone gave up, Goat and Lion would switch places again and collect the money. Or at least that's what Goat thought would happen, but unbeknownst to him, Lion had plans of his own. He wanted money, but not the chump change he'd get with a little bet. He was looking to get much more that night. I didn't bring it up because it doesn't relate to how the crime occurred, but Leopard and Lion were uncle and nephew. Leopard didn't have any children to speak of, and Lion was the closest relative he had. So if Leopard died, Lion would inherit most of his estate. That would have been really important little fact to know. Oh, there was a life insurance, and we don't suspect anyone that could have gotten the money. So what Lion was really after when he made the pact with Goat was an iron-clawed alibi. After all, once the switch occurred, everyone would believe that Lion was there inspecting the dungeon with them, which meant that the real Lion was free to do as he pleased without accountability. So he went up to the roof and pulled up the rope of the bag containing Goat's clothes, then changed into them. From that point onward, everyone thought he was Goat, I guess. He then went to the party and took Leopard to a place where they would be alone. Everyone saw this, which was exactly what Lion wanted. Oh, but Lion didn't know how to mimic voices, right? Wouldn't people know how it was him? Only if they talked to him, but he only talked to Leopard. Yeah, but then Leopard would have known. What if he did? In fact, that would explain why Leopard went along so easily, since he and Lion were related. But the thing is, it doesn't matter if he knew or didn't, because of what happened right after. Oh, true. How evil. Lion killed Leopard, stole his key, and locked the door. Locking the door was just so nobody happened to find the body. After all, Lion still had things to do that night. he wanted to kill Goat too, right? Because he'd tell people what really happened. Yeah, so he waited for him in the armory. That he did. And why did Goat happen to be there as well? Was that a coincidence? They were going to exchange clothes there, weren't they? That's right. The dungeon trick was going to conclude with the two men meeting in the armory and trading costumes, which gave Lion the perfect opportunity to kill Goat before he realized what was happening. Now, before committing any crimes, Lion exercised a bit of patience. He made sure to let Goat change out of the lion costume and put his own clothes back on, because of if Goat's body ever floated back up, Lion didn't want any evidence linking back to him. Oh, that makes sense. So he waited until Goat put on his own clothes again. Goat in turn placed the lion disguise on the table. And then he was killed, just like Leopard was. Lion cleaned the knife and placed it on the table. Then he barricaded the door so he wouldn't be interrupted. Very good idea, it turns out. He dragged the body beside the window, then took the bag that was hidden in the corner of the room. The bag was heavy. What was in there? The missing armor. Oh. That's a solid candidate. Could have used a few cannonballs as well. So Lion tied the bag to Goat's body, threw it out the window, letting it sink to the bottom of the moat. But that's when something very unfortunate happened to our favorite criminal. What was that? The fox girl heard him making a ruckus, so she came to check. And why was that a problem? I see it very clearly when I close my eyes. The villain just threw the body out the window. Someone knocks on the door. A familiar voice is heard. Lion looks around in panic. There's blood on the ground, on the table. The murder weapon shines in the moonlight. Time, stop. What should he do? Should he wait in silence? Nay. He didn't know why someone was looking for him. Perhaps Leopard had been found already. If the fox lady insisted on entering, finding him in the state he would, in that state would be quite incriminating. Then should he grab everything and flee? But officers would surely notice the blood on the scene. With Goat still missing, the case would be too obvious. They would eventually find the body and most likely the truth. So what then? What should he do? Naturally, he should create another explanation for the blood in the room. He had made Goat a villain already. Perhaps he could do it again. Time started ticking again. The lion screamed and pretended to have a fight with himself for Fox to hear. He took the knife, went towards the window, and full of resolve he stabbed himself. He threw the knife away from him and threw himself against the window. After all, an unconscious man wouldn't have to give any explanation of what happened with Goat. Blood dripped from his open wound, mixing with the blood of his own victim. And so, Fox opened the door. Time accelerated. People flashed by. And the truth lay hidden at the bottom of the sea. Until now.
Yeah! Hey, Aloy!
My bunny's running around. God, that was a lot of paint.
That's a lot of paint.
Okay.
Amazing! Yeah! Who's the best? We're the best criminals all over the world. We're coming to get you.
Hey, you actually aren't bad at this.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, then. I guess it's fine if you stay. Wow. I was going to anyway. What if you get stuck on a case and cried?
I wouldn't do that.
Get stuck or cry? Hey, what are you doing? You just cracked a tough case. You know what I do when that happens?
Celebrate! Ooh, confetti! Woohoo!
Yeah, pretty cool, huh? I bought a few of these for the occasion. Nice, can I try one? Haha, sure, why not, buddy? Awesome! Okay, oh no, my hands are slipping. Shay, watch out! Hey, it's not working! Is this thing on? Rookie mistake, boo. You left the safety on. This is how you do it. Freeze, criminal! Haha! Wait, kids, stop. Point them upwards. Upwards! Yay! Oh, I thought we were gonna do more. Whee! Fast text. Cool. The music was cute, but it felt a little bit like it didn't really fit. Cute. Very cute. Hi, I'm Rio. I hope you enjoyed playing Little Locked Rooms. Word of mouth is powerful, so if you know anyone who might like this game, I'd deeply appreciate it if you share it with them. This has been my first experience trying to make a real game. I'm glad I managed to see it through to the end, or did I? But there's still so much I want to create, so many games that aren't going to make themselves. My sincerest hope is that with your help, they become a reality. Thanks for playing, and until next time, Rio Lucky. Lucci or Lucky? I don't know. Alright, that was Little Locked Rooms. I've linked, I always link every game that I play, I always link in the description to Steam, so please check it out. Check out his other games if he makes more games, and feel free to like this video and leave a comment because that really does help my channel a lot, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!